Good morning, guys. It's coffee time. How are you? Good stuff. Okay, took a couple days to ground myself. Kind of got a little bit involved in the world, put it that way. So I decided to go back to the basics for an understanding. And through a couple unique little things that pointed their way to me. Now, we know, and you've heard me say before, the Pharisees or Sadducees, they asked Jesus what was the two greatest commandments. And he said, love the Lord thy God with all thy heart, with all thy soul, and all thy mind, and love thy neighbor as thyself. Of these two things rest all the words of the prophets and all the law combined. Okay. Now, what that was really talking about was all the commandments. If you look at the Hebrew translations of the Bible, okay, and of the commandments, the very first commandment is, I am the Lord thy God, full stop. That was listed as number one under the Jewish translation, okay? And the first four commandments are associated with God. Now, in the Catholic or Christian traditions, they are blended into three, okay? And the next, if we go from four, if we use the Jewish translation, four, and then the next six being the number of man, and the first four being the door or the way, meaning God. Okay, the next six are solely about your neighbor. Okay. Thou shalt not steal from your neighbor. Thou shalt not kill your neighbor. It's all about God and man. 4 and 6, and then the Christian breakdown is 3 and 7. Okay. Now, the Dalet is, again, represents number 4 in the Hebrew alphabet, which is actually the number 4, and that is the door. Okay, that is Jesus, God, the way. And 6, the next 6, is the Vav, which represents the peg and man. And what that means is continue through in this context, okay? It includes everything physical, really. North, south, east, west, up, down, etc., time, space, matter, the whole bit. Now, if we take the Bible, okay, and there's a unique pattern I'm going to show you. If we take the Bible, the first words in the Bible is, I believe it's pronounced Breshet, which means in the beginning. And the last word in the Bible, at least most Bibles, is in the book of Revelation, is Amen. What that does, now there's a correlation between the first words. It's an ancient writing technique. The first words and the last words tell the story. Okay. In other words, it condenses it within the first couple words and the last couple words. In Hebrew, okay, the first words of the Ten Commandments are I am. It goes into the Lord thy God. Period. Done. That was the first commandment. But let's just take the first words, I am. And the last two words under the Jewish translation is thy neighbor. Okay, I am thy neighbor. Hold on to that for a second. In the beginning, first words in the Bible, and at the end, amen. Now, in the beginning translates into I am. So you know. And the last word, amen, is an affirmation, okay? It is understanding the truth. I am the truth. Those are the first couple words of the Bible and the last couple words of the Bible, just like the Ten Commandments. I am thy neighbor. There's a story in the Bible that talks about Jesus. You know, if I was a stranger, naked, and you clothed me, did you not clothe me? Jesus says, if I was hungry and you did not know me and you fed me, am I not though hungry? The simplistic nature of understanding, affirmation. Literally, in the beginning, I am, and then an affirmation at the very end. The affirmation is understanding and truth. God, ourselves. And I always said the story of the Bible is every bit as about man as it is about God. But having to be grounded and going back through the basics. And there's many translations you can look at, okay? When you look at neighbor, okay? Neighbor itself means fellow, reside. Okay, in other words, they reside with you. Love thy neighbor as thyself. In other words, he is you and you are him. Do you understand that? Now, going back to the commandments, verse 4 are about God under the Jewish translation. Okay, the 5th commandment, down through the 10th, okay, 6 commandments, again, the Vav. The 5th commandment, in the Christian or Catholic, it would be the 4th commandment. The very first word is honor, because it's about honor thy father and thy mother. Okay, but you have to understand the word honor. In Greek and in Hebrew, the meanings carry weight. That's the definition. In other words, it's not just honor, it's about reverence, it's about veneration. But the definition of carrying weight means take heed. Okay, it means listen. It really is a weighty, just stating, I am the Lord thy God. And he's basically telling us, now my children, hear me. Because it's basically talking about God and us. I am. And at the end of the Ten Commandments, thy neighbor. This is all about a relationship with God. First couple words in the Bible, last couple words in the Bible. First couple words in the commandments, last couple words in the commandments. It tells the story. And when we look at the numbers, 4 and 6, okay, verse 4 was about God, remember? The dalet means the door or the way. And vav means continue through or in conjunction. Through him, with him, in him, seeing it. Conjunction. It tells the story. Anyway, I hope you all are doing well. I hope you understand when we see the Bible and when we see the commandments, and this includes the Apocrypha, not all will be written like that. But just like the first word in the 5th commandment, or in the Christian, the 4th, honor thy father and thy mother. Okay, in other words, love thy neighbor as thyself. Okay, you are the neighbor is you. You are the mother, you are the father. Okay, look at the transition between God and the parents. That's the transition. Honor thy father and thy mother. That means all. That word carries weight, reverence, take heed. It is a very poke you in the middle of your forehead and going, listen up. So, to my Christian friends out there, and I bash this a lot, I do, but you better take Mary a little more serious, because if that is Jesus' mother, that is our mother. Your mother was his mother. That's the translation. He is you, you are him. His neighbor, you know? In the beginning, I am thy neighbor. Food for thought.